Hi, my name is Dan Alfrov and I'm from London, Ontario. As part of Youth Science Canada, hosting Canada at the International Science and Engineering Fair. So my project is called Perception of Facial Expressions of Emotion. And the purpose of my project was to look at what we know about how we express and perceive emotion in order to diagnose a variety of mental disorders. Now why that's important is because a variety of mental disorders like autism spectrum disorder, bipolar disorder, and schizophrenia share localized deficits in facial emotion perception. Now what that means is that patients with autism, for example, have the deficit in perception of fearful faces. In other words, they don't see fearful faces like you and I. Whereas the schizophrenics share deficits in positive emotion perception. Now what I use binocular rivalry to essentially rank facial expression of emotion, sexual to develop a ranking system that is a norm for healthy populations. Now, binocular rivalry is a paradigm that occurs when you present two different images at the same time. And your brain, like this, essentially suppresses one of the images, and you see only one of the images at a given time. These images continue to alternate for the duration of the rivalry. So what I had subjects do is I had them press buttons in accordance with which image they see at a given time throughout the trials. What this allowed me to do is it allowed me to compare universal facial emotions to universal faces. Now, this provided me with a ranking, which can be summarized by this graph here, of facial emotion. What's interesting about this ranking is that despite individual variability in the data, the pattern itself is actually the same. And what this means is that perception of faces is universal in healthy subjects, and we can use this information to diagnose a variety of mental disorders. The second phase of my experiment was to figure out how does the emotional state actually affect your perception of these faces, because a lot of emotionally labile patients are incapable of expressing an emotional state. So how will their ranking change depending on how they feel? And in order to measure this, I changed emotional state with music. So essentially I played the music while having my participants look at this binocular rivalry. And what I found is that happy music globally changes the perception of these faces, and so does sad music. And we can use this change because it's significant to determine how a person is feeling while they're doing the experiment. Now this has two main applications. One application that, as I mentioned before, is the specific early diagnosis of these mental disorders, as well as helping emotionally labile patients who cannot express their emotional state in a clinical environment. So essentially, by monitoring their emotional state over a period of time and comparing it to a standardized score, you can graph their manic depressive cycles, which will allow you to provide more localized treatment. Thank you. That concludes my presentation.
My name is Alex Deans from Ontario, Canada, and my project is the Iisef, it's a navigation aid for the visually impaired. So it uses tactile and audible feedback to guide users through indoor and outdoor environments. So indoors, it scans the environment using ultrasonic sensors and compiles a list of where obstacles are and where the open space is. And then builds a small little joystick, just about this big, and you fit it in the palm of your hand. And it'll rotate by itself to show you where to go. So if I have obstacles on my left and open space on my right, the joystick will swivel to the right, and I can feel it with my thumb and know where to go. Outdoors, you can input your destination to an Android phone using voice commands, such as take me to Walmart. The device then stores the 5 most common destinations in a cloud database for future use. The joystick then rotates to show the direction to your destination, and it also tilts to show how far away you are. So if you're very far away, it's like this, and as you get closer, it will approach a vertical position. In both environments, indoors and outdoors, the user will alert you, the device will alert you of any immediate obstacles using an audible beep. So I tested the i8 with 11 visually impaired patients, as well as 20 other patients, and it actually reduced collisions by 97%, and navigation was up to 58% faster. So they were actually able to navigate 3 floors of an apartment complex unaided with no collisions, compared to constantly probing the environment with their hands or the guide cane. The i8 is very inexpensive. It costs only about $150 right now for off-the-shelf items. If it was mass-produced, it would actually be reduced to about $20 to $25. So the i8 allows for the safest and fastest navigation for the visually impaired, and it's also able to rapidly adapt to complex and changing environments.
Hi, I'm Megan Fable. I'm from Northern Ontario, and I'm representing Team Canada YSC. So basically what my project is doing is increasing the efficiency of the grass cell. And a grass cell is an alternative type of solar cell that uses organic berry dyes, titanium dioxide, spike is stuck between the fractals of these diatoms and bounce around inside of the cell, increasing the electrical output. However, it's not really feasible for mass market production, so I moved on to diatomaceous earth, which is also more commonly known as egg color. And the diatomaceous earth Gretz cell increased the electrical output by 7.6 times in comparison to a traditional Gretz system. And then I compared all of these solar cells together, and I found that the diatomaceous earth Gretz cell actually worked to produce 2.3 times more voltage than a regular solar cell that you would buy at the store today, proving that it produced more power and was more efficient than the silicon solar cell.
So I'm Daniel McGillney. I'm from Toronto, Canada, and I'm representing Team Canada at International Science Fair, Iisef. My project essentially now looking to attack people's personality traits simply by connecting to social media. The algorithm works in a simple stage process. The first stage, I attempt to mimic human intuition by extracting sort of independent traits from people's social media profiles. These traits drastically vary from sentiment to market models, text-to-speech, etc. Then I compare people's relationship to themselves for all factors separately to construct correlation matrices. I then extract the latent variables from PCA from the correlation matrices and cluster people with it through artificial neural networks competitive learning. Afterward, I created my own algorithm for scoring. It essentially creates a network of relationships between loadings and then scores the data. The scoring is essentially, the results of it turned out to be very accurate as I managed to get 96% accuracy with detecting people's personality. As an example, I ran it for depression and 96% of the time people who show symptoms of depression are within depressed clusters, hence I got very similar results for happy and disability. It's really the first behavior analysis tool of its kind. There's a lot of applications to it. These applications vary from depression detection to recruitment to marketing to politics to finance to dating services. As it's really the first tool of its kind to do such.
My name is Ben Friesen. I'm representing Grimsby, Ontario as part of Team Canada at Intel Iisef. So I'm here to tell you about my project iSpot. What it is it's a system that automatically counts and identifies insects in the greenhouse. So the issue is that to count and monitor the number of insects in the greenhouse, they currently have to hire an entomologist to count the number of insects on a sticky plant. This is really expensive and it counts for approximately $30,000 in cost for greenhouse growers in a 1 acre, 4,000 square meter greenhouse. So what I decided to do is create a better way to do it. So the way I did this is I used a Raspberry Pi camera, an original object detection algorithm, and an LED lighting system to automatically take a photo once a day and count the number of insects on the car. This is extremely cheap as you only have to pay for the initial installation, which is about $300 per unit or $15,000 for a 1 acre greenhouse. And it also has the advantage of you get reports daily instead of weekly. So instead of having to wait a week to get a report, you get one immediately and you can get on top of pest problems much more quickly.
My name is Varsha J. Shumker, and I'm representing Science Canada, and I'm from St. Catharines, Ontario. My project is the identification of novel antimicrobial compounds in Bergamot matta. So Bergamot matta, also known as microginger, is a vegetable commonly found in South India. And after talking to my grandpa, I found out that it potentially has antimicrobial properties. So I created an extract of microginger and I tested it against a few pathogenic bacteria, and it worked. So this year, what I decided to do was I decided to go into the chemistry side of things and try to find a compound within microginger that is antimicrobial. I started off by breaking down my extract further using step-back filtration, which is broken down into 4 extracts. These 4 extracts were tested against bacteria such as Pseudomonas and MRSA that are antibiotic resistant, and they were proven effective. So in future experiments, I did further experiments. I used mass spectrometry to identify a compound, and I identified 2,4,6-trihydroxy-35 diphenyl hydrochalcone as the novel antimicrobial compound in microginger. Now this compound works against both plant and human pathogenic bacteria, so it can be used as a double-edged sword toward diagnosing bacterial infections.